My name is Luke Callahan, and I'm located in the Columbia River Gorge, east of Portland, about 60 miles. My business is seedwise.com, which is like Etsy for seed farmers, a simple way to connect, to help small-scale seed farmers sell their seeds retail and find a market, while connecting the consumers to the farmers who grew their seed.
Great. And what would you say has made your business successful to date?
I've been successful at business because I've had the fortune to fail and to keep trying and to learn. I think the biggest challenge has always been to not be beaten down by failures, but to learn from them. And so as my businesses have evolved, I've learned so much. I've gotten so much value out of talking to customers. No matter who my customer is, I want to be talking to them every day to really understand how I can deliver incredible value to them. And it's funny, now that I've taken this approach of almost becoming empathic to my customer, I find that they develop the business model for me if I can just listen and try to solve their problems, which creates kind of a bit of a challenge, because you start seeing all of these different opportunities and you just have to learn to say no to them and stick to the one you're doing at the time.
You mentioned that you've learned from plenty of failures. Do you want to elaborate on what some of those might have been?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I learned, so it's how I've learned from my failures. It's all how you frame it, I guess. But, Curtis and I launched Curtis Stone, the urban farmer. He and I launched an online urban farming course with the premise that if he could teach me how to start an urban farm, then we could teach you. And that's how I developed Nightlight Farms, which grows specialty microgreens in Portland, Oregon, which one of my employees now runs, or she owns. But the failure there was that we launched it without clearly telling people how to do business with us and let them sign up for free. And so what we initially proposed to give away the first lesson for free soon became branded by our press as a free course. And that was a really good lesson in making it incredibly easy to do business with you, being incredibly clear in your communication and not giving any room for wiggle room.
Right. Any other lessons learned?
Oh, geez. I started a network of social entrepreneurs, and I didn't know how I was going to monetize it. I didn't know how I was going to earn any money from it. I didn't know the revenue models. And I went to a conference to get people to join, and I got a lot of people to join, and I had 500 people join, and they all joined, and I realized that there was no way to make money from it, so I had to dig deeper. So I kind of racked my brain, and at first I was frustrated because I had gotten all these people to join this network, but I wasn't making any money, and I was still poor. So anyways, I took this mindset of really trying to determine what those customers needed. So I asked them, I sent a survey out to everybody, said, let me know the top 3 things that I can help you with. And so now I had 500 people send me just beautiful market research about international development social entrepreneurs. And so anytime you can get good market research on a very focused market, you're probably going to find a business model or 5. So what everybody said is I had this 1,500 data points of different needs that, ways they needed help with their business to build their business and become successful. And half of it was all around raising capital. So then it became easy for me to say, okay, well, why don't I just focus on helping them raise capital? And so I went out and I built a network of impact investors, and I put them in my database based on where they wanted to invest, what stage they wanted to invest in, whether it's 50,000 or 3 million, and what sector, whether it's water, energy, food, so on and so forth. And from there, I was able to build a business model around connecting the entrepreneurs to the impact investors. So what started out as a bit of a head scratcher failure turned into a pretty neat opportunity just by digging deeper and getting to know my customer.
Great. And have you encountered any challenges or barriers to becoming a successful business that you'd like to share?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing I learned from running the microgreens business, I was acquiring clients who were restaurant, chefs, and I didn't know anything about the chef industry, so I did my best to learn everything I could about it, and I really learned to overcome my fear of rejection. I would show up with my sprouts, and they would say, great, I like them, or I don't like them, or yeah, come back, or I'll order them. And then I wouldn't hear anything from them. And so even the ones that said, I love them, come back soon, or let me put it in an order, never heard a word. And so I realized that I had to come back over and over and over again until they actually told me, I don't want these. And if they don't tell me no, I'm gonna show up again. And that mentality of the persistence has been so valuable to me. It's incredible. In my current business, Seedwise, I'm recruiting seed farmers to sell their seeds on the site. And until they tell me no, I'm gonna call them and try to help them get more sales. And what's interesting and really neat is I've gotten emails from some of them saying, at first I wasn't interested, but because of your persistence, I decided to give it a shot. And that was a big challenge for me to overcome, to lose the ego, I guess, and just go for it. Because if you really believe in what you're doing and that you're helping your clients, why wouldn't you be persistent?
Yeah. And so what would you say, just based on the area that you're working in, are there any gaps that people could fill? Or is there anything missing that's preventing you from moving forward, or opportunities for new people to get involved?
Oh, sure. What do I need?
Sure, yeah.
Absolutely.
What do you need?
Storytelling. I think
Storytelling.
the storytelling is incredibly powerful. More so, the graphic design, really creating something compelling to the eye, and using the right language is. There's always going to be a need for that. There's such incredible content in substance in this permaculture realm. But it's getting a sullied, it's not a sullied name, but it's got all these different images in different people's heads. And so to tell the story, to be able to help people understand whatever it is incredibly valuable.
That's a great answer. So somebody looking to get more involved in permaculture could take it from a sort of design and even a marketing angle, or?
Yeah, there's so many opportunities there. I would say, as a rule of thumb, if you want to get a job or you want to start a business, you got to figure out an area where you can help. Mm-hmm. So figure out somebody whose product or service you think is incredible. Maybe you know them personally, but you see an opportunity for them to do better at marketing, to do better at telling their story and engage their client, and step in to fill that role as the storyteller. By doing that and really identifying how you can provide a service to others, you'll be much more valued.
So it sounds like you're good at finding customers, even if you didn't know what to do with them the first time around. How did you get that 500-person list, and how do you attract customers? And
Oh yeah, great question. One of the things I've been most successful at is to identify, really hone in on who my audience is, who my demographic is. And when I knew that, so take the social enterprise investor business I had, the Social Entrepreneur Network, for me to be able to say, my primary demographic are social entrepreneurs who are interested in international development, building a business in energy, water, food in a developing country, then I can find a place where they all are. And it just so happened that there was a social enterprise conference. So I made sure to get there, and I made sure to get there and be a press sponsor for the conference, which also helps give me a little bit of credibility, and it's easier for people to come open up to you. Now, without the press sponsorship, it would have been fine. I still went out and just shook people's hands and said, I found my target demographic, the entrepreneurs, and just asked how I can help them. If that's the one thing I could tell to future entrepreneurs, is find your audience, find a very close audience, describe them, and then ask how you can help them. And you will find a business model.
Great. What does your revenue model look like? Where does the money come from?
Oh, sure. So my revenue model for Seedwise is people come to Seedwise to buy seeds, like they're coming to Territorial or Burpee or Salt Spring Seeds to buy their seeds online, and they add it to their cart, and then they check out through Seedwise, and say that the order is for $100. $100, we process $100, and then we take 20% for our fee, for the Seedwise fee, and then 80% goes to the farmer.
Okay.
So we take a 20% fee.
Are there any other pieces of advice or insights that you give to somebody wanting to get into a permaculture business?
My advice to any budding entrepreneur who really is passionate and wants to make a difference in the world is to not look at business as a way of earning money for yourself, but look at the business you're starting as a way of delivering massive value to your customers and to the world in general. And it just so happens that those people will pay you with money, but the essence of this is that you are delivering massive value. And just stick with that, and you will be successful in life.